Well, hello there. This is actually a July morning for the June tape. It's actually July the 5th, day after New Year's, or not New Year's, day after 4th of July. And the reason you're getting the tape so late this time is it's not that it's late at all. It's just that I've been on the road for so long. This is my first chance. Since I've gotten home, I've only had about 4 days since I've gotten home, so it's sort of just getting adjusted and reestablished. And I really didn't want to send out a tape where I'd just been out on the road running and pushing and hustling, and then just, you know, showing up back at home and then just jamming some tape out because it had to get out. That's not how it works for me. So I waited till today, and I'm excited about today. And I'm up here on top of the mountain once again. Beautiful, serene. In the background, you can hear the fan of the car running. But the mountain is once again as beautiful as ever. She's been set upon by the summer turistos, but she's as magnificent as ever. Today, we're going to talk about a couple different things. I'd like to talk about group consciousness, which seems to be one of the things that we're heading for. It's sort of like when we had talked about consciousness in the last workshops. We talked about all the different states that there were, sort of like Cleopatra and Harakan Baba and Saint Germain. We have all these different states of consciousness out there, and if you've taken a workshop within the last year or so, you've heard all of this material, so this isn't something that is new. And as a group, what we've really done, for those of us who have stuck with the material, and if you look, all of us have, even those who have gone off and done something else, the energy of what was taught at those workshops is still inside of you, and when you will need it, it will come forth, if you choose. You see, it all comes down to your choice. Once again, you all knew that. It's do you choose to grow? Do you choose to participate? Now, as a group, I've taught certain ways, certain formats. I've taught you to be God. I've taught you, hopefully, to start expressing yourself as that divine aspect, to see what it is that you are really capable of doing. If you've been noticing, your clairvoyance has been starting to happen. You will see more salt and pepper specks at night. You will begin to notice that more things that you just casually say are starting to come true. As a group, we were taught, even though we were taught individually, we were taught as a group. We were taught that there were so many people on this planet that were waking up a little sooner than others. We were given insights that we could be those very people. We all hold that thought within inside of ourselves, along with several of the other thoughts that we have in common. And whether we can comprehend it or not, some of us are starting to move into that direction of that group energy. Now, this group energy is a very powerful aspect. It's something that I've never really touched on because my attitude was to really get you excited towards your divineness, that you are God, that you don't need to follow anybody, that you in yourself are more than enough. You of yourself are capable of anything. And now the free bonus is that there are those of us all within the same framework. There are those of us who are all falling into these same categories. We are becoming like that group. We have put our energy to the fact that we're locked up on this planet to do one specific aspect, to do one specific job. That job is to serve the Godhead. In any way, shape, or form, we can put that together. And to serve God, I mean, what a refined, beautiful thing to do. And as we serve this totality that is in ourselves and around us, we also serve others who are also God, who are like unto the thing that we pray to, who just have different ideas, different formulated thoughts than we do perhaps, maybe don't worship it as totally as we do, and yet we all fall within that category of loving and worshiping that God. That is what our focus is basically upon. We look at the focus sometimes indirectly. We look at that focus as being unto ourselves. Learning how to love ourselves. Learning how to focus our attention into ourselves, that God ourself. By making our life a little easier. By making our life a little happier. By making our life less judgmental. By making our life just a little more understandable. And this is how we also serve our God, because we serve ourselves through that totality. Now, as a group, there is that energy, just like Cleopatra energy. There is that 144,000 group energy. And it is an energy that is fed by all people on this planet. Christians, Mohammed, Buddhist, Hindu, Tibetan, you name it, they're all out there, and they all know about that grouping. Now, we have chosen to plug into this group. Basically, we've taken a course that's enhanced that thing within inside of ourselves to see ourselves a little clearer. Not to give ourselves some important ego personality scenario, but to encourage us to look deeper inside of ourselves, to say, hey, you know, maybe I can't really feel my godness. Who really knows if I'm in this group? But I'm going towards this energy. And as you do within that group, there's an energy that supports us, that keeps us moving. It does. It just keeps moving us along. And we grow. We push. We search within ourselves, and then the beauty of the group is that our consciousness is joined by those others who are searching in the same way we are. Now, when we get into group consciousness, we become parts of this group, and we become different aspects of it in totality. In other words, you all heard the money tape, and you should have all been receiving letters that back up that material. And I'm sure it's dawned on you now that hey, it's $28. We're not out pushing anybody's money button. We're out checking out the wholeness, checking out the money aspect for all of us. See, in the group, it was one of the things that we all appear to, not all, is one of those things that several of us appear to be working on, and some of us are not working on it because we do have the money scenario solved. Those in the group who have the money scenario solved have been slowly adding their energy to our group, and it has been helping us solve our money issue. You know, as a group, several of us have a money issue, several of us do not. Those that do are all working together as a oneness to get it handled. That's why I had us send a $28 in. You see, we're saying, yes, we're in support of the whole, and by putting out our thoughts and our prayers and money for some of us, we are joining into this group to become supportive of this totality. Not that, whoa, Dennis is short money and we've got to help him out, yada, yada, yada. No, 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 no. That is, in an aspect, true. Because I chose to go to you as part of that whole. I've chose to go to part of the whole in many other ways besides the group also, to bring in more energy to support this group. As one of us gets it within this money avenue, and I guess that a lot of people do look to me because I'm the master in that aspect, as a lot of us look to me, you should be looking to you as Dennis. I have reached out to more than just the group to support. I've reached out to the total universe for the support. And the group has magnificently supported us, as has the whole. Which brings me to the truth that I have been teaching correctly. The whole will support you when you need it. It hasn't supported us yet in a financial aspect. In other words, I haven't pulled in the full $40-some thousand that I'm missing. But the universe has given me other avenues to use that in turn will develop towards that extra money that we were looking for. Now, it's not just Dennis that is looking for the support on the planet. It's all of us that are looking for the support on the planet. It's those of us in this group, 144,000, saying, hey, is the support really there? And I'll tell you what, it really is. Financially, if one of us starts to get it, and then several of us start to get it, and I start putting it together at this end, as masters, as that group of the 144,000, see, eventually the money scenario in this group is going to click for us, and we will all have our mastery down. We just look to the whole supports us. We don't have to worry about, how am I going to get this, how am I going to get that, how am I going to pay for this, how am I going to influence that. We're going to start to see that we're growing as gods. We're growing as beings that are capable of manifesting these things when we want. We do not have to turn into fear and fill that group consciousness with fear. Fear of, how are we going to get this, how are we going to get that. There is no fear coming from me as that state of consciousness. There's concern as Dennis, the personality, but as the master, it's sort of like we have to turn into that master that we all are. Look back, have we always made it? Yeah, we've always pulled it out, some way, shape, or form. Then we must count on that. We must turn to that. We must support the group with that particular energy. This group that we fit in, we're going to grow each other like we never have before, because we can see the divine in this group. We can see the divine within our attitude. We know that as we support ourselves, the state of consciousness that supports us totally is supporting ourselves and the group. And the money issue will be handled. It is like any other issue. It is like, the reason that I'm sticking with money in this particular moment is a lot of people sent back very strong messages saying, wow, Dennis, you know, we're all in this money scenario. We're all trying to get this. We're all wondering how this money thing is going to come together. Well, let's not worry about it. It's coming together. It in itself is manifesting into this group, and soon this group will not have money problems. This group will function and work as a whole. It will not function from fear. I've been working very diligently and not allowing the fear to come into the group as a whole. I've been working love to come into the group as a whole. I've been working to get panic out of the group as a whole, so that, oh wow, we're falling apart at headquarters. No, we're not falling apart at headquarters. We're growing. We're not going under. That's only one of the small aspects of the totality. I've never learned to judge moment to moment. That's why I don't judge. See, because when you look at the whole picture, you look at a picture and you go, wow, this particular frame that I'm in here and now is a very unpleasant picture. And sometimes as our juices get plugged into that picture, we get caught in that picture and we go, this is the only picture that there is and this is all that we can see. That's not true. You see, we can look out and we can see the totality as long as we're not doing judgment. As long as we're going, hey, this is going to work out, and we start putting this energy into the group, that's what the group is going to get in return. And each of us strengthens the other. Each of us strengthens the other. This is a group effort for the group consciousness. This is not some individualized thing. Each one of us is banging our heads against some sort of financial wall. That's not it at all. We are going to become majorly successful because we are gods. We are here to demonstrate the perfect flow of the universe. And by taking on one issue at a time, first money, then this, then that, then anger, then jealousy, this group is going to come out supporting itself in a way unlike anything else. It's going to be solid. We're going to have thoughts of beauty, the divine aspect of God coming here, serving the planet. No more money problems, no even money hang-ups at all. The flow of a beautiful divine thought going through us all of the time. And as these divine thoughts go through us all the time, it's encouraging to feel us grow. You know, I look out, and in every tape that I do, I like to become very inspired. I want to reach out. I want to grab you. I want to get right into your essence, and I want to say, "Hey, this is all happening. This is all working. We can do this." Yes, we're individuals. Yes, we're God. Yes, we're manifesting our own creations, and yes, we're also working as a group. There are 144,000, and yourself, that are all working to their very, very best capacity. And if you take a good look, we're all using and dealing with the same material. And I also look and I find that in that group, one of us has got each piece of the material handled. And I also notice that those little tiny pieces are starting to grow in the state of consciousness. When I go to sleep at night, you know, most of you know that I still work at night, and I don't really quit. You go out into that group consciousness of us, and you go, oh wow, here's a little bit of anger that's coming up, here's a little bit of jealousy that's coming up. We don't really need this in the group anymore. Let's do this. Let's change this. And then you work in your dream state, and you work to make this a better aspect for all of us. So you remember how I used to talk about each of us is sick, or each one of us has a major problem, and as we clean that major problem up, we take that major problem away from the planet. It's the same thing with the group consciousness that we're using. It's sort of like, as we become more positive, as we become more fruitful, as we become more financially wealthy, as we become more loving to each other, as we begin to see the God more clearly in each one of us, we begin to realize that group is starting to grow with love and caring, and not the negative affirmations that a lot of us in the past have been putting out, but the very, very positive affirmations that we have been putting out. Yes, we're divine beings of light. Yes, we're divine beings of love. Yes, we're really here to serve the whole. Yes, man is God, studying the creation of itself. And as we get together in our support groups and we talk about God, we are raising this group consciousness of the 144, and it is raising us out of the old programs of, oh, I'm broke, oh, I'm sick, oh, I don't know if I can make it, oh, I'm not good enough, oh, I don't have time for this, oh, it sounds good, but maybe another time, oh, am I really worthy, oh, geez, I'd like to, but I don't have the time now, oh, it would work for somebody else better, but not for me. We're getting rid of all of those O's. We don't have to do that kind of stuff anymore. We're filling that group with, hey, wow, guess what? The money thing is getting solved. Oh, wow, guess what? There's plenty of fine things around for me. Oh, wow, guess what? I just feel so loving about myself. Oh, wow, guess what? As I begin to be loving, things start going my way. Wow, I didn't know that the group consciousness was actually going to help me be a loving person. Oh, wow, I didn't know that because everybody who started loving themselves in the group, that was going to rub off on me. Oh, wow, I can start to feel that love starting to come down, and oh wow, I think it's a wonderful thing to be in this state of consciousness. It's like a Saint Germain consciousness, or a Harakan Baba, or a great Karmapa, or the great Katumi, or all the great masters. It's like being in their consciousness. They're not fretting, they're not concerned, they're not worried. They're in a state of consciousness that exudes divinity. We're in a state of consciousness that is just learning how to build its divinity. Right now it's still influenced by the physical plane. But as a group, we're taking those issues one by one and we're dissolving them. We are becoming strong as a whole. By all of you out there supporting me in whatever way, shape, or form that you can, and please, you know, if it's a financial thing that you can really help, if you're having financial problems, send the headquarters $28. And demonstrate to yourself that the whole is really being supportive. And you will begin to notice that the whole starts supporting you back. Not because you sent me $28, but because you supported the whole. And in return, the money is going to come back to you because you supported the whole as it asked. You're that whole group. It will support you when you ask. You see, this is what we're doing. We're trying to get a group consciousness that is going to be very supportive. I mean, if we're all supposed to know in the end where to go stand and what to do and how to be free, don't you think we should be starting to practice that now? As each one of us gets a final handle on our money problem, we put that successful triumph into our group consciousness, and we have more successful triumphs starting to happen now than all of these old defeats that we've been lingering in with. So far, the group has really come through. It's contributed something like about $8,000 or $9,000. That's amazing, you know, because out of this 1,500 that I sent tapes, everybody has to send $28 in order to really make the whole thing work. And so far, yeah, a lot of them have sent, a lot of them have supported. Sure, there's been several $1,000 checks, and that kind of brought the total around. But even if you didn't send money, I know that in your consciousness you sent the love, you sent the support, you sent that helpful thing. If you haven't sent the money, just do it as a gesture. That's really all it really is. That's why I use 28 to support you back. See, as this company pulls together and starts manifesting prosperity, which is part of the 144, all of us are going to start manifesting prosperity because we all belong to that. I've been really doing the tons of affirmations of I am now receiving abundance and prosperity from all of the dimensions, and all of the dimensions are giving to me. I am now receiving abundance and prosperity from all of the dimensions, and all of the dimensions are giving to me. I am now receiving abundance and prosperity from all of the dimensions, and all of the dimensions are giving to me. You see, I'm praying to the totality, to God, to the divine aspect, which is beyond money, which is beyond caring, which is beyond even love. And I say my affirmations and I say, hey, I am complete and I am whole and I am total. And totality supports me back. Now I know that that affirmation is working for all of us in our totality. That's just not for Dennis sucking in totality and pulling in finances. I know that we love God. I know that we serve God. That's serving all of the dimensions. And they in turn serve us by just giving us their love, which happens to be a form of money. It happens to be a form of food. It happens to be a form of mental relief. It happens to be a form of less stress. You see, as all of these dimensions love God, that beauty of love just falls down and gives to us more of a physical understanding on how to go out and put ourselves together. As long as we are worshiping and serving that God that we are inside, the universe will serve us back. It's a matter of learning how to trust it. That tape that I sent out was a major act of trust. I needed to look out and see, can I trust myself? Can I trust us as a group? Are we really willing to put in that extra little bit and grow in a totality? Are we really going to get in there and serve something of the unknown that we don't really know? That's what it all really comes down to, just serving God. Serving God, loving yourself. You're God. Are you happy? Start being happy. Is money something that is not making you happy? Then start asking God to serve you by allowing the abundance to come into your life, allowing the prosperity to come into your life. It may not come as money right off the bat. It just may come as people loving you, as people caring for you, as people showing that they're really there for you, by giving you a helping hand, by you giving to me. I am giving back in such ways that, you know, people go, well, yeah, he's not sending money back, or he's not doing this back. But hey, my giving is to God. And that overflow gives to all beings who are sharing and giving to God. And that's what it comes down to. It's like there's Dennis who is hearing this thing say money, and there's the Divinity saying, keep saying it, because within that there's that higher recognition that money is just God, that money is just totality, that food is just God, that fear is also God, and it's a part that we have inside of us, and it's a part that God would like us to conquer. And as we conquer this fear, we begin to realize that there is more of God open up to us. See, fear is limiting. I've discovered that things that are of a dense aspect hold and hinder us from having those lighter aspects. I found that as we lighten ourselves up and get off the issues, you know, even if you can say, hey, yeah, I got a money issue, but I'm just going to lighten up and I'm just going to let it resolve itself because I'm giving to God and I'm giving with love and with peace, and it's honest and it's sincere. And I know that God is going to give back to me. And slowly, what will happen is your fear of these issues that frighten you will begin to leave you. And as that fear begins to leave you, you will begin to be enhanced with perhaps the actual money aspect coming into your life, because fear isn't pushing it away anymore. You see, fear is God also. We see that fear in ourselves, we recognize it in ourselves, and now it's time to just let that fear go and accept the divine aspect. See, for me, I just finally had to let the fear go. I had to say, hey, look, Dennis, you're just this far in the hole, and the universe